Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and my fellow veterans, my name is Jim Willis. I'm the director of the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, and as a point of personal privilege, I will tell you, a proud resident of Lynn County, in that little city just down the road, Albany. Right. This is a great day for Lebanon, for Lynn County, for the state of Oregon, but most of all for our nation's veterans and their families and their survivors. We gather today to break ground on Oregon's newest veterans home. And before we post the colors, at a recent meeting of the Lebanon Chamber of Commerce, I promised that on the day of the groundbreaking, we would announce the name of this home. Today, I'm proud to announce that this home will be called the Edward C. Allworth Veterans Home. We have many members of the Allworth family who have joined us here today. They'll later be introduced along with a number of dignitaries as we go through this ceremony. But to begin with, I would like you all that can, if you are able to, please rise for the posting of the colors and the singing of the national anthem. The color guard from American Legion Post 51 will be posting the colors. Color guard, post the colors. All colors. Present arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The national anthem was sung this morning by Sergeant David Dominy from the Lebanon Police Department. I know we gave him a round of applause, but let's do it again. I want to say a few words before we go into our program. And like any event like this, the program is fluid. It's flexible. It's been changed. So bear with me. Now, for those of you who have a speaking role, don't worry. You'll know when it's time to speak because I will call your name. For those who thought they had a speaking role, if I don't call your name, you don't have one. So, everybody's comfortable now. We know what we're doing. And let me speak to you about why we're so proud to call this home the Edward C. Allworth home. The Major, as he was known for the rest of his life, was an amazing human being. When he graduated from Oregon Agricultural College in 1916, which of course we all know now as Oregon State University, he was commissioned in the United States Army, and by 1918, in fact, in November of 1918, as an infantry officer, was leading his troops, and specifically on November the 5th, one part of his troop was across a river, another part was on the other side when the bridge was blown up by shell fire. Then Captain Allworth swam the river, leading his other group of men across. They went across, wiped out some German machine gun nests, and captured over 100 German prisoners. And his command was less than 100 people. Following that, of course, he was recognized for his gallantry in leading his troops and later received the Medal of Honor. Like most Medal of Honor recipients, however, it is how Edward Allworth lived the rest of his life that is also truly commendable. You see, this fellow knew how to keep a job because he went back to his alma mater, which, as I say, was Oregon State University, and he became the secretary of the Memorial Union Board of Governors and was also the secretary of the Alumni Association, positions that he held for the next 38 years, almost 4 decades of service to that university. And today, if you go to Oregon State, to the Memorial Union, you'll see a room that contains a bust of Edward Allworth, and also his papers are still contained there on the campus and other memorabilia. But he had 3 wonderful children. His son Edward, who lives in New York and is a retired professor emeritus at Columbia University, taught Turkish and Russian languages. He also did some fellowship work at Duke University and at North Carolina and so on. A very, very accomplished academician. But what you don't know about Edward A. Allworth, which is Edward's son, is that on June 6, 1944, he jumped into France with the 101st Airborne as a lieutenant and was later awarded the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart for his actions. So it seems military service had run in the family. And then Edward A. Allworth, the son of Edward C. Allworth, his son became a missile command officer in the United States Air Force. So again, another generation of Allworths serving the United States in the armed forces. So I told you that I had some introductions I wanted to make. Edward's other daughter lives in Texas, and she is not able to be with us today. But his daughter, Jody, who lives in Corvallis, is with us today. And Jody, would you wave your hand so everybody can acknowledge you? Thank you for being here. And 2 of the granddaughters are here, Leah and Peggy, And Leah, would you and Peggy stand up so everybody can acknowledge you? There you are. And now get ready for a treat. Edward Allworth would have enjoyed seeing this, okay? I don't have one great-grandchild here today. I don't even have two. I don't have three. I have six. Six. Chris, Gretchen, James, Chris, Ashley, Jimmy, and Philip. Stand up, you guys. I am sure your great-grandfather is looking down and is very proud of not only his great-grandchildren, but his granddaughters, and certainly his daughter that's with us here today. We have a poster over here that when we've concluded the ceremony, you can learn more about Edward and, of course, see a depiction of the home. The other thing I'm proud to tell you is this. When we presented this home design to the central office architects at the United States Department of Veterans Affairs earlier this year, they were so impressed with our design that they've asked us to present it to the National State Homes Conference this coming February, and we're going to take it because they said this will be the standard for the future. So I think this place is going to get some visits. As I said before, we have a number of speakers that are going to be with us today to help us do this groundbreaking. And I noticed when I got here today, I saw this front end loader, then I saw the Caterpillar, then I saw this big scraper, and I said, aren't we going to use shovels? I mean, my goodness. So it turns out we are going to use shovels. They're right over there. So we're fine. Senator Ron Wyden wanted to be here with us today. Unfortunately, the business of the United States Senate kept him from being here, but he sent his veterans representative, Fritz Graham. And so, Fritz, would you please come up and present the remarks on behalf of Senator Ron Wyden? Please welcome Fritz Graham.
I'll be reading a letter from Senator Wyden. Dear friends, although I am unable to be with you today to celebrate the groundbreaking of this important project, I would like to recognize the work that has taken place in this community. It is vital to support the men and women that wear the uniform and serve the United States, but we must also ensure that our nation repays the debt owed them after their service. When the men and women who may one day live in this facility joined the military, they took an oath, served honorably, and fulfilled their obligation. The United States of America made a promise to them as well, and I work every day in the United States Senate to ensure those promises are kept. I consider representing the men and women who have served in the military as one of my highest privileges. I would like to thank everyone involved in this project for their work and leadership, including Samaritan Health Services, who made available the land, the Lynn County Commissioners, the City of Lebanon, the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, and the people of Lynn County. We are here today because of all your work. Again, thank you for inviting me to be a part of today's ceremony, and I look forward to joining you the day of the new Lebanon Veterans Home opens its doors. Sincerely, Ron Wyden, United States Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Fritz. I appreciate this. Not only have we received support from our elected officials at the federal level and at other levels of government, but of course, we could not have done this without the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, and I want to acknowledge that right now. But everything we do as a state agency must go through the state legislature. And so one of our strongest advocates is here today, and the beautiful part about representing veterans is that it's a bipartisan issue. It's not a Democrat issue, it's not a Republican issue, it's an Oregon issue and it's an American issue. And so I really appreciate it when our state representatives and our state senators step up and support our men and women in uniform and our veterans. So with that, I'm very, very proud to introduce from beautiful downtown Scio, Oregon, State Representative Sherry Springer.
Jim, can I turn a shovel in for that? That'd be fun. Thank you so much. It is a good day for Lynn County. It is a good day for Lebanon. It is a good day for Oregon. But Jim was right. What's really important is it's a good day for our veterans. Not just Oregon veterans, but all veterans. And I'm pretty blessed today that I got to bring a special guest with me. And I have a couple remarks, but I think it's important for us to pause for a moment. Sometimes we get hung up and so excited about the construction and the project and all the stuff that's going on, which is good and wonderful. But I'm just an opportunity to remind us and remind me all the time why. And I'd like to introduce my friend Sherry Hassinger right now. Great friend of mine. I got the privilege of meeting her on her doorstep 4 years ago. This is Arden Hassinger's, Chief Master Sergeant Arden Hassinger's widow. The Vietnam veteran that was an MIA until this summer, that came home. And, yeah. And that's the reminder for me of why I do some of the things that I do. So I was thinking about today and what this day means for Lebanon, what this day means for Lynn County. And Lynn County stepped up, and we've invested, and we want to do this, and it's a great thing. And, maybe it's a day we can say, good job, we linked arms, and we've done a good thing today. But then I started thinking about what does tomorrow hold, and next year, and when we're past the groundbreaking and we're opening up the doors, does that mean we've kind of done our part? No, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. That's when we take our families in at Christmas time. That's when we take school groups in there. That's when we have a real opportunity to invest ourselves personally in the lives of the veterans that we're always looking for an opportunity to thank. I've given lots of speeches about how do I say thank you. Well, my prayer's been answered. I have an opportunity, and that is to show up. And so I would say here today publicly that the Springer family, not Representative Springer, but the Springer family is going to step up to the plate, and when the doors are open, we're going to be there. I don't know what we're going to do. They might have me clean toilets. I'll do that. But we'll be there investing, and it's our opportunity to really give feet to the thank you. And so I'd encourage all of us to be thinking about what we can really do when that time comes up. And I know they'd love to see these guys over here because they're fun and they're happy and there's lots of energy there. So again, this is a great day for our veterans, and I want to say a special thank you for Sherry for being my guest today.
Thank you, Representative. I appreciate that. What Sherry just said reminds me of something I want to share before I lose it. I'm very close. I'm very close to going in the home myself. But she talked about visiting the home, and I can't tell you how much the residents of our home appreciate it when people come and visit. Some of them don't have family, or some have family that are a very long ways away, so they do appreciate it. But one warning, and I base this on a lot of experience with the Veterans Home in the Dalles, which we've now been operating for 15 years. Do not play Texas Hold'em with veterans who have been playing the game for 65 years. And I don't even care if you're playing for cookies. You will not have any cookies when you're done. So just a fair warning, just telling you. Okay, so you've heard from the House of Representatives side of state government. Here to represent the Oregon State Senate is Senator Fred Gerard, and I'm telling you, another very good friend of our veterans. I'm so glad he's here. Senator Gerard. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I feel really blessed to be able to open and take a shovelful to have this project go forward. For you that don't know, I'm from the big town of Lyons. I represent 18 cities. Lebanon's my New York City. And they came to me with this idea, and to see an idea finally go forward
and the fact that the legislature didn't foul it up, I also feel blessed. It sat on Ways and Means, and we thought we had this project just going forward, and in the last minute of, I think it was 2010, there was what we call a Christmas tree bill that went forward to put Roseburg first instead of this project. To say that I was a little disheartened and to say that I was a little angry is an understatement. And we owe a debt of gratitude to another senator, and that's Senator Brian Boquist, who is not here today, who's a veteran. Actually, I think he's still active to a certain degree. He straightened the mess out. He is in charge of the Veterans Committee at the legislature. So we all owe a debt of gratitude that this went forward because of Brian Boquist. Once again, thank you for the honor of letting me be here. It's exciting for me to be able to deliver to my New York City, and I always love Lebanon. For you that don't know, my uncle was a physician here forever and ever, and I was actually named after him, so I really do love Lebanon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. Now, there were an awful lot of people that worked very, very hard to bring this home to Lebanon. And the next three that I'm going to talk about were some of the hardest working. And that's to take nothing away from what everybody else did. But there were some behind-the-scenes things that needed to be done politically and sometimes with an arm in the back like this. And that's what these guys did. And I won't tell you which one of them did that, but I remember who it was. And in no particular order, for their remarks, I'd like to welcome our Lynn County Commissioners. And first up is Roger Nyquist. Please welcome Commissioner Nyquist. I know he's here.
How you doing?
Oh, there he is. He's behind me. Thanks, Roger.
Thank you. It's quite an honor. First, I want to congratulate and commend Dr. Mullins and the board and the organization of Samaritan Health for their vision to create a medical campus here in Lebanon. Most of us would see this as a grass field. So without that vision, we surely wouldn't be here. I also want to thank the folks at Western University for coming to Lebanon. Without you coming here, this likely doesn't happen. It was in a conversation that I had with officials of Western University about what the county could do to help them in being here and developing their model, in that the opportunity to contribute to the medical campus was raised for the county and for the Board of Commissioners. And then what happened is our county administrator, Ralph Wyatt, dusted off an RFP he had found just a few days before, which was an application, a proposal to apply for this home that we're celebrating today. And the director of our health department, I don't know if he's here, Frank Moore, Frank and folks of Samaritan Health put together an application in very short order that was the application to end all applications. I think it was about 400 pages. We named the thing, which is not the eventual name, but that's okay. It was both great in detail and in marketing. And then I want to thank Dr. Mullins again for making the presentation when the siting committee came. He did such a wonderful job of doing that. And I want to thank the siting committee. There's a couple of them here today. I don't want to give anybody the indication that I'm on a first name basis with or related to them and that we got any preference, but thank you for choosing us. It's just such an honor. And then the citizens of Lynn County. In the worst economic time since the Depression, the citizens of Lynn County pony up $10 million and vote to do it of a margin by about 2 to 1. Speaks to their character, to our character and our commitment to our veterans. And of course, the City of Lebanon, Mayor Toom, John Hitt, your ability to process applications to construct and do things in such a timely manner that have created the market conditions, which make all of this possible to begin with. And ultimately, I want to thank the veterans who are here today and who are not here, are currently serving our country, who put it all on the line for the freedoms that we enjoy today. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. I have something for you here. Roger? I have a coin for you. All right. And as I said, in no particular order, I now welcome Lynn County Commissioner John Lindsay. And I know John's right there. Okay.
Before we got here, I just had to drive back from Salem. I actually changed clothes in a restroom over here. But I was going to read a few words that I'd written down. But now that I've seen how big the crowd is actually here, we'll bypass that a bit. Just for quick background, Jim is not new to me, and I'm not new to Jim. At one time, Jim was a regional commander for the American Legion. I was his oratorical chairman just before you were promoted to ODVA. And how much money did I get that kid for that speech back in D.C.? $44,000. So Jim was a very successful leader, both in veterans organizations. What I wanted to touch on is, I'm not going to sit here and repeat what Roger just said. And the fact of the matter is, yes, when we went down and decided that we needed to go with this, which was an abrupt decision, and the city of Lebanon jumped on board, and we got underway, we proved how fast we can react to a situation and how quick the people to approve it. As Fred Gerard mentioned, this did not happen exactly easy, and there was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. And that was that some of the leadership in Salem did not like the idea of a veterans home going in Lebanon. But the Board of Commissioners kept guaranteeing that we could raise the money. And no other community in the state of Oregon could ever raise that kind of money. I remember one evening I was with my father at his house, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I go, "We are going to raise money for a worthwhile cause, Dad, and this is the way it's going to go down." And so I used to always bounce a lot of things off him. As time went on, we found out the real reason that we're here are the people that are not present. There are roughly 56,000 people that marked ballots in this county. And those 56,000 people, the majority of them that marked yes, are the ones that decided a veterans home would come here. And those are the people that we need to give a round of applause to. We can come up with ideas and we can come up with plans, but unless you have the ability to implement them, they cannot happen. And if it wasn't for the citizens of Lynn County, there is no way that any of the events today could take place. Personally, this has become a really, with me, it's more on a personal level lately with what's been going on. Sunday, me and my brothers, who were also veterans, took my father to be buried at sea Sunday. And unfortunately, he died back in January and didn't have a chance to see this day. He was at one time Lynn County Veteran of the Year and quite active. Jim can attest to that. My dad was an honorable man that wanted to see honorable things done for our servicemen and women, and he ingrained that to all of his kids, and we're working on other generations to do that too. We live in a country that's worth doing things for, an idea that's worth thanking those who fight for those ideas and principles. And this here home is just one way of thanking those individuals that will someday reside here that are greatly deserved of what we're going to give them. And for that, I'm extremely proud. I know if my father was here today, this would be probably one of the proudest days of his life. And for that, I thank you people for helping. And with that, I will end.
Wait a minute.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome, John. And thank you.
How much is that worth?
No, just move along. Nothing to see here. Just move along. Now, I'll give you one guess who the next county commissioner is. You all know him, and he's here, and thank goodness. And when Will Tucker, Commissioner Tucker, started bringing these helmets, and there's a bunch more here, and there's some over there, and so on, I knew something was up, okay? And I'm willing to wear one, but I'm not going back in. It's not going to happen. So with that, please welcome Commissioner Tucker.
Thank you, sir. I had the opportunity to work with the Veterans Affairs, the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, and with the City of Lebanon on putting today's event together. And it said we had to have hard hats to go out there and be by the equipment and turn dirt over. And I think of going to Lowe's and I buy hats because I have a tree farm, and that's not what this day meant to me. So I asked the National Guard to loan us some helmets. So these helmets represent the men and women who gave their life in service of our country. These helmets represent the men and women of our country who have served in the past, who are still alive, and may have the opportunity to come here and visit or stay in our home. This helmet represents the men and women who are in service today, across the world. But also, this helmet represents those kids right there in Tanya Cairo's third grade class. The kids that are being taught about this nation by being here, that this community has been extremely embracing of this home. On a winter's day when we signed the documents, last year, her class was here. Today, as the windows come up, her class is here. I know because she's had veterans come speak to her class for years that her class, and I see Dr. Hess there as well, this school district will be here. I encourage you, the people who are turning over the dirt today, to think about the helmets we're borrowing. They don't have supply depots, so I can't just go and check out a bunch of helmets. I actually had to ask officers to raid lockers of their enlisted men and women to get me helmets, because in today's world, they don't do it like they did when I was in, and you could go and steal stuff, requisition stuff from supply and have it be misplaced in your unit and have to turn it back in when you got off deployment. But regardless of those stories, these represent young men and women who are willing to share their helmets with us today in hopes that we will not forget the veterans that are today serving National Guard, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard. Who have I left? Army. My son served Army. Oh my gosh. Okay, and it's whose helmets I've borrowed. In fact, General Reese has sent down a colonel who we'll hear from in a minute, that it is for this next generation, the generation that's serving today, that I hope as we put these helmets on, we feel a whole bunch of strength, a whole bunch of pride. This is a great day for Lebanon, a great day for Lynn County. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. If you're watching your program, you know that Dr. Moens is up next, and I'm just warning him to stand by, because I'm going to tell a quick story about the med school. Or wait a minute, back up. The mayor's up next. The mayor. You're ready, aren't you, Mr. Mayor? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have to tell a filler in here for just a second. Yesterday I had a meeting for about an hour and 45 minutes at the medical school over here, Comp Northwest. And what we were talking about is how will we partner with these doctors in training with the Allworth Veterans Home. It was a great conversation. But what came out of that for the city of Lebanon was an interesting conversation. And I just said to them, how long will it be before a graduate of Lebanon High School finishes their baccalaureate degree and then is admitted to medical school and graduates from this medical school, interacts with this veterans home from Lebanon High School? How long will that be? Probably not very long. What a great day that will be. What a great day that will be. I'm really looking forward to that. And I know Dr. Crone is here somewhere. I thought I saw her earlier. There she's waving in the back. Thank you, Dr. Crone, and thanks for representing the medical school here today. We very much appreciate that. And I just want to put a plug in just from Lynn County in general. I'm really proud to have that medical school here in Lebanon. Really proud. And now I probably just took a line away from the guy who's proud of Lebanon every day because he's the mayor. Mayor Ken Toon. Ken?
Man, Jim, I'm glad I made the short list. And one nice thing about Lebanon is we're upstream from Albany, so I'd like to acknowledge my wife, Thelma. October 12th, we'll celebrate our 55th wedding anniversary, so she was only 12 when we got married. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the groundbreaking ceremony for the Oregon's second Veterans Living Facility. A couple of years ago, the city received a call from Commissioner Roger Nyquist. He was looking for a few good men and women to assist him in bringing a new veterans home to Lynn County. I immediately said, count Lebanon in, and we became an army of one. Our team has always aimed high, and this venture has definitely accelerated our lives. While all of our groundbreaking events over the past 10 years have been memorable and have served our community well, today's groundbreaking is different. There is something very special and unique about this event. I believe I speak for the citizens of Lebanon and Lynn County when I say we are humbled and we count it a privilege and an honor to be entrusted with the opportunity to care for our nation's heroes, the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. There is a bumper sticker that I see frequently in this area. It reads, "Freedom isn't free." Let me say that again. Freedom is not free. It is bought and paid for with a price, in some cases a very high price. Jesus said, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Thank you. When you've lived as long as I have, those words will strike a chord in your heart. I'm so grateful to live in a country where I have freedom of speech, a country where I can worship freely and have a right to bear arms. I am humbled because I cannot even begin to pay back the debt that is owed to the millions of lives lost for our freedom. Today and every day after this, Lebanon and Lynn County will live amongst our nation's finest Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. It is my hope that our community service to the residents of this facility brings them a sense of freedom and that they have earned and deserve. Thank you very much.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that. And now, I'm not kidding, we really are going to hear from Dr. Larry Mullins. I mean it. He serves as President and CEO of the Samaritan Health Services, and he's invested personally and professionally in this community and definitely in this project, and we couldn't have done it without him. We very much appreciate being a part of this healthcare campus. Dr. Mullins, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, I think in the interest of getting everybody through this program before we need this facility, I'm going to shorten my remarks as well. But I guess I do want to start off by saying a couple of special things. First off, the name is great. We talked a long time about what the name should be for the new facility here. I think some of you know we give it a placeholder of Patriots Place, but I think having the Allworth name is just phenomenal. That it's going to reflect not only Patriots Place, but all the veterans and to the family and the rest of the people representing them here today. Thank you for your sacrifice and for your service. We appreciate it. To the veterans in our state, I was trying to think how many people will this likely impact in addition to our local community. And we've got about 40,000 veterans within our immediate service area. We have over about 330,000 throughout the state. And that number grows by the day as we go forward. And certainly there's a number of my generation veterans coming back that will certainly need access to these types of services. So to them, we're just very happy in that regard. The other thing, though, I'd like to do is to thank some more people. I know there's a lot of thanks going around today, but they're well-deserved, who really made this happen. You heard the names Frank and Ann used earlier. Two of the people that helped to produce that voluminous document, several hundred pages, and frankly, one of the shortest time periods I've ever seen for the production of that kind of material, which did prevail on the process to say let's make the case for a veterans home here. To the other managerial staff and governing boards, particularly with SHS and Lebanon Community Hospital, that give us the authority to move forward with the development of the campus overall and to make that happen. And to the leadership overall that along the way just embraced this project, brought it home for all of us to benefit from. The local leaders that have been engaged from day one. I won't bore you with the number of expedited processes they did to make things happen, certainly from the city level, John and Mayor and others. To the county level, the county commissioners could not have been more engaged, more involved, more greater advocates for what we're doing here. To the commissioners, thank you. To the state legislative folks, especially when the battles started to happen up at the Capitol, who rose to the occasion and said, it's not going to happen in our town, it will happen here, and advocated for us. Cannot thank them enough for all that happened there. And maybe one of the biggest things that was mentioned earlier, but it really does merit mention again, and that's to the people in our community that voted for this bond issue. And think back a couple of years ago, one of the greatest economic recessionary periods we had. When you talk to people about making a commitment like this, a lot of people support activity of this nature, a lot of people don't, but overwhelmingly put forward a bond issue that made this project happen. So for just a minute, I'd like to thank all the leaders, but especially the people of our counties who voted for this proposition. Let's give them a round of applause. And you heard a lot of eloquent comments, and I was trying to think, I don't know if I can match up to those, but there was one thought that kept coming back to me as I was hearing the earlier observations about veterans and giving to us and recognizing what service they give to our nation and thanking them for it. And it was the one that some of us know, some of us are not as familiar with, but it was Semper Fidelis, always faithful, that we were faithful to our veterans. They serve us, and we serve them. So I think that's the note I'd like to end on, is Semper Fidelis to all of you, and thank you for a great, great facility. Everything goes fine. Hang on, buddy. And I have for you a coin. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate that. Okay, we've got papers everywhere. This is great. Two people in the audience that I want to introduce to you because they have a connection to Edward C. Allworth. Now remember, we said that he came back and worked for Oregon State University for 38 years as both the secretary of the Memorial Union Board and the Alumni Association. But with us today is the director of the Oregon State University Memorial Union and the Memorial Union president for 2012-2013. So please welcome Mike Hinthorn and Michael Forshana. Please stand. I know they're here. There they are. Pretty hard to miss him in that orange and black. Well done. It's easy to get dressed in the morning, isn't it, fellas? Great. All right. Unfortunately, our Adjutant General, General Reeves, could not be with us today, but he sent a representative of our Oregon Army National Guard, and I'm sure also representing the Oregon Air National Guard, the commander of the 41st Brigade, Colonel Bill Edwards. So, Colonel, would you please come up and share a couple of words with us on behalf of the National Guard? Thank you, sir.
There you go. All right, well, I don't have many prepared remarks, but I do want to say how honored I am to be part of such an important event like today, where we recognize the dedication and the groundbreaking of this facility, which will help help America's veterans who have served our country well. And I think the other thing I'd like to say is, as I look at the audience here and I see some fellow veterans, as a veteran who is still serving, I want to thank you for your service and let you know that today's servicemen and women continue to carry on the proud tradition which you set before us. So thank you.
I've got a little something for you here. You know how those work. Right, all right. Thank you. Okay, now let's talk about the groundbreaking itself. There are instructions to follow here so that we don't get anybody hurt. Now, Commissioner Tucker made it very clear that once we exit the tent area, there has to be a helmet. The only person that's exempt from that is the colonel who just spoke, because he has a cover on already. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody it's a soft cover. I'm not going to say that. Nor am I implying that he is a hardhead. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying he has a cover. So don't take it personal. Now, I believe we're probably going to have more dirt turners than we have shovels, so we may have 2 on it. Or did you get some more there? I might have known, Commissioner Tucker. How's that hardware store working out for you? Pretty good? Okay, good. Well, that's good. Well, I had a couple things I needed to give out while he's gone to get the additional shovels anyway. I brought some special coins today that I want to give, and I've got one for each, or one for the daughter. That's yours. And then we have the 2 granddaughters are here, and one of them's here. That's for you. And one of them's where? Right here. Yes, Tia. And then, very seldom I get to give anything to state legislators because they're not supposed to get anything. See, it's in the rules. But I can tell you this is under the value of what they have to declare. So as a memento of the occasion, I want to give one to our state representative and one to our state senator. Fred, there you go. You bet. And that allowed just the appropriate period of time. And, apparently I've got to do something else now. We are going to get to this, folks. Trust me. I want to recognize a couple other people while I'm here. There are 9 veterans who serve on the Governor's Advisory Committee to the Department of Veterans Affairs. These veterans, men and women, give of their own personal time to advise the department on issues important to veterans. They come from all over Oregon geographically, but I happen to see the tallest member of the group, who is a wonderful young man. I'm going to embarrass him to death now. He's going to turn red as a beet. He's a former sergeant with the Oregon Army National Guard, and when you see his height, you'll understand why he holds 2 Purple Hearts from his service in Iraq, because he couldn't get down low enough. That's his problem. So former Sergeant Ryan Howe from Albany. Ryan, wave your hand, buddy. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Director, I apologize. The truck was pressed into service where I had some more shovels staged. All right. All right. We're going to have 2 on a shovel. It's not going to be a problem. All right.
Okay, and now, I think I've just turned this off or it's run out of battery. That's all right, I can speak up. Okay, also serving is a former United States Army veteran and currently the state adjutant for the American Legion, Mr. Jerry Lorang. Jerry, would you lead us? And a former United States Navy veteran and a veteran of the Korean War, Irv Fletcher is here. Irv, you were right over there somewhere. Back there. He was right over there. I saw him. Now he's there. You know why? Because the cookies are right there.
Oh, I see him.
Okay.
Oh, I
Also
see.
serving on the advisory committee
My dad's
is a Vietnam combat veteran who very recently received his long overdue Silver Star. He also holds a Purple Heart. And he is with us today, and I think he brought his wife, and I know he's... There he is, Al Herrera. Al, wave your hand. Right next to him is the state adjutant for the Military Order of the Purple Heart, also a Vietnam veteran and a Purple Heart recipient, Robert Halton. Robert, thank you. Now, am I missing any of our other advisory committee people? The appropriate answer is no, Mr. Director, you're not. All right. So, let me call the... Is this fixed now? Oh, yeah, it's fixed. Oh. Wow, is it fixed? Okay. Let me... Oh, for heaven's sake. Has that thing blown away again? My program? I can't find it. Somebody's got one. Here, let me borrow your program just a minute. I promise I'll give it back. You're a fine man. Fine man. Okay. Now, I want to, on this very serious note, this ground is uneven. You probably noticed that walking in here. So those of you that are going to handle these shovels, just be real careful going out through here. And we'll assemble across on the other side of that broken dirt, and those who need to be really stable can get on the plywood. The rest of them, just take your chances. And so with that, Mayor, you've already got your helmet. Okay, would you make your way to that piece of plywood there, sir? I know it's pretty heavy. There we go. All right. Dr. Mullins, would you please go next? There's your cover.
All right.
You got to have that. Dr. Crone, I know you're there. You're going to look great in this. Paula, this is you. This is you. Thank you, Dr. Crone. Appreciate it. She's representing, of course, the medical school. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, and now is Roger still with us? There he is. Roger, will you get a... Yes.
I mean, it took Michael Dukakis a tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, John. Commissioner Lindsay, try that on Navy guy.
Well,
I had to get a large one in my fat head.
You've already got yours. Okay. Senator Girard, will you please don your headgear and join them out there? Representative Springer, you've been waiting all day for this, haven't you? I knew it.
But I want that.
No,
I
no.
don't want a shovel.
Yeah, I know. She wants that big tractor. Okay. That won't be happening. Okay. And Colonel Edwards, there he is. Come on up, Colonel. We're going to get everybody lined up. We're going to have a little lesson on how to operate these things. Just take us a few minutes.
Director, I have more shovels. They have landed.
Oh, okay, well, then we're going to have enough. There you go, John.
I'm not doing this.
Yes, you are.
What?
Yes, you are.
Since when? I wasn't supposed to be.
I'm telling you, you are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
We got shovels coming.
I know. I want to introduce the gentleman to my immediate left. The reason that I want to introduce him to you is that if you live in Lebanon, you're going to see a lot of this guy. This is the construction project manager from the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs for the home. And his name is John Osborne. I will say that once again, John Osborne. The reason I want you to know who he is if something isn't going the way you want it to go about this home, do not call me. Call John.
Thank you.
And he'll work on it. Okay, let me... Oh my goodness.
Is this the entire group?
Yeah, this is it.
You got to get your helmet on. You're unsafe. You're unsafe, Commissioner. Get that helmet on.
Okay, helmet's on.
Okay, give one of these to...
Don't you have your helmet? Oh, it doesn't fit. Okay. Now, here's what we're going. Here's what we're going to do. Okay, attention on deck here now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a shovel full of dirt, and on 1, 2, 3, on 3, we're going to pitch it out toward the center. Everybody got that? Yeah. Got any Marines here? Yeah. Okay, everybody's got it. Okay. Okay, be ready.
That's right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
In fact, I've got...
The shovels are a souvenir of the groundbreaking. Please take them with you. Yeah. Yes, sir. Oh, she did. Okay. Well, I'm going to give her another one. Okay. Okay, the people who just did the groundbreaking will receive a little plaque that is affixed to the shovel that has the date and the place and the time and the purpose and all of that, so they'll have some way to remember this. Hopefully you all got a program. I hope we didn't run out. If we did, I apologize. And that'll have something that you'll have a memory of. And I really want to say to all the members of the extended Allworth family, thank you all very much for being here. You honor Edward C. Allworth greatly. And by the way, for the rest of his life, well, thank you very much. You do. Edward's permanent rank when he left the Army was Major. So he was promoted one more grade from the time that he was awarded the Medal of Honor. And you would think, okay, that's nice. He was a major when he left the Army. Here's what's interesting. My mother knew him. She went to Oregon State. And he was known to all the students by one name. I doubt they even knew his name was Edward because they called him Major. He was known as the Major. They called him the Major. And he is interred today in the cemetery in Corvallis, along with his wife. And I know, as I said before, how pleased he would be. But as a true hero of Oregon, The thing that we're going to carry forward to this home that we also have at the home of the Dowls is the motto. This will be the Major Edward C. Allworth Veterans Home, the place where honor lives. That's what it will be called. And now, ladies and gentlemen, will you all please rise for the retirement of the colors? Color Guard will retire the colors. Retrieve. Present. Arm. Order. Arm. Retrieve. Colors.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and my fellow veterans, that concludes today's groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you all for coming, and drive safely.